I believe the president waited as usual. Because when we notice the activities of the president from 2015 till date, he said don't respond to things, to issues, timelessly. He will wait until the whole thing gets spoiled. If you look at Benue massacre that time, did not respond in time until people started insinuating other things. So in every instance, maybe this one dovetail into the issue of naira, the design matter, because you find out that the issue affected everybody in Nigeria. Either you are rich or you are poor. Everybody that's taking his money to the banks, only for the banks to refuse to issue out the same percentage of money you deposited in the bank. We were being told by maybe that it was due to election and this so that people will not rig election. I think that is very strange and uncalled for. It's unusual. So the president should not continue with his idea of not talking to the people, because we elected him as the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And when there are issues that borders on everybody, he should come out and talk to us. Thank you.
If that is the case, don't you think the CBN should have complied with the Supreme Court's judgment immediately?
Well, the normal thing is we talk about the rule of law. The our own situation here in Nigeria, we are operating a federal constitution, whether you have the legislature, executive, and judiciary. They work hand in hand, but they have their own particular areas of advantages. And you see when the Supreme Court makes a statement, it's the higher court of the land. It's what we call it's only the constitution that is above the Supreme Court when it makes its own judgment, because it derives its own power from the grand norm, which is the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I believe the CBN, like any other agency, government, bodies, or individual, should comply with any judgment of the Supreme Court, because failure to do that will merely lead to anarchy. Because when there's a court judgment and refuse to adhere to it, if everybody refuses to adhere to the judgment of the court, there will be anarchy, and there will be serious problem in the country.
What Nigerians, the masses, went through because of this scarcity of cash, don't you think the presidency and even the CBN should have gotten fillers because of this?
Maybe there is a serious disconnect between the government and the people. Otherwise, when we see the aftermath of the effect of the changing currency or the design, people are without cash to carry out their daily activities, knowing fully well that this country we have about 80% of our population residing in the rural areas, and where most of them there are no telephones, no nothing, there are no electricity to even power phones, and they don't even have access to Android phone that you can use to send money from one person to the other. So they should wait and allow the country to get to that level before they can just bring out a policy that will last only 3 months. Whereas in other countries, you should allow this thing to last for a year or 2 years before you conclude the currency change. Even there is something preventing them for even tactically withdrawing the old notes from issuing out to the banks, and then the old note will come in without even people notifying it or noticing it.
Will you say that the CBN or the federal government implemented the naira design policy well?
Well, I know everybody knows that they mess up in the process of implementing the naira design policy, because you cannot. I am even of opinion that the CBN did not even have enough currency to distribute. Otherwise,
The new one?
yes, I'm of the opinion that they don't even have enough to give to the banks. Otherwise, it doesn't take time for them to give to banks, and banks will load their what do you call it, ATM machine, and for individuals to just go in and take their money, and then there will be peace. But now you cannot even, people are lining up in the behind the machines. You go inside the bank, you cannot get money. Even till today, people are still lining up all over the places. You know, so I think it's a very, very sad situation. There's no need to give all this sort of stress, even coupled with the economic situation, very harsh economic situation in the country.
Do you think the federal government really made a success of what it says one of the reasons to bring about this naira design policy, preventing vote buying at the election?
Well,
Successful?
but when you look at the result, general result of the uh, presidential election, you can the naira design issue, it affected all the parties and the public itself. The public cannot even have enough money to travel to go and vote where they previously registered. So it does not. I don't see any how the thing affected the issue of using the money to bribe voters, because I think it's a very terrible process. I don't know, and it's still, people are still feeling the impact as of today. So if it's targeted to vote buying, they should devise another way, not by punishing the ordinary citizen.
Thank you so much.
Okay.